matchup early on in San Antonio. They come off of a couple of victories this weekend against the Concordia University Tornadoes, and then followed that up on Sunday with a nice win over Hardin-Simmons University. So a couple of early season matchups with some teams out of the ASC conference. But, of course, this UMHB team comes in. They were ranked ahead of a couple of losses that they recently suffered. So they're certainly looking to get back right in this one. Trinity's going to have their work cut out for them here today.
And on the floor to start things off, the freshman Christian Green will tip off against Mary Hardin-Baylor's Ryan Pondant. Pondant and Green will get us started off here as we are underway with some great basketball. Trinity will start things off with the ball. Tigers will try and move quickly. Coach Smith telling us wants to start working it better in transition. We'll see how they use this first offensive possession. Gets it into Braxton Berry, and Berry will put it in for the first points of the game for the Tigers.
Yeah, and it looks like Josiah Johnson for Mary Hardin-Baylor fell down on that one, trying to close out on Jacob Millhouse. But a good job from Millhouse recognizing the advantage, finding Berry down low, and very quickly Trinity ahead 2-0 and forcing a turnover there in transition.
The senior Tanner Brown with the inbounds pass to Jacob Harvey. Harvey working it down, gets it up to Brown. Brown passes it in to Braxton. Braxton Berry out to Christian Green. The freshman gets it in, tries to get it into Braxton, but the ball ends up in a Crusader's hands, and the Crew running it down the court. And it's down to number 30 for the Crew, Kyle Wright. Wright, a player that Coach Carroll had words of praise for, as the Crew shift it back to Wright. Wright up to Brooks. Brooks trying to get it into the paint, but it is tipped by a Tiger. Christian Green out to Harvey. Harvey with the three, and Harvey hits the three. So Tigers up early as we go up 5-0.
Yeah, and a great shot from Harvey in transition right there. Caught that one and made that decision to let it go quickly. Dangerous, dangerous shooter for this Trinity side. Struggled in his first game at home here on Saturday, but rebounded nicely on Sunday against Hardin-Simmons. A good start for him here again on a Tuesday weeknight game.
Brooks will take a three, but that one doesn't go as well as Harvey's does. Ball's on the floor, still on the floor. It's a scramble for the basketball, and it's picked up by Johnson. Josiah Johnson with about 20 points per game this season will get called for a travel, so Tiger ball.
Yeah, Johnson will be the name to monitor all evening for this Crusader side. He's an All-American caliber player. So the question will be, how does Trinity check that? This weekend they saw Will Bartosik out of Hardin-Simmons. He saw Colorado College on Saturday as Christian Green with a nice floater over the top for another two, and it's a quick 7-0 start for the Tigers here. Bartosik against Colorado College had a career-high 36 points. And then Trinity turned around the next day and limited him to just 8. It's been a really good effort from this zone defense that they're displaying here again to start this one off.
The zone defense at work now. Crew with 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Wright trying to push it in. Tries to get it in to Pondant, but unable to do so. Brown hits up Green. Green draws a foul. That is the first personal foul of the game. That one will be tagged to Peyton Brooks.
And maybe a good foul from Brooks right there. I know he certainly wasn't happy with the call, but Christian Green had Jacob Harvey wide open on that opposite wing.
Brown trying to work it in the paint. Out to Harvey. Harvey takes a three, and Harvey sinks a three, so the Tigers are up double digits, and a timeout will hit the floor as the Tigers are seemingly doing nothing wrong.
Absolutely right about that. Early on, have found the hot hand a couple of times. Great shooting from Jacob Harvey on the outside. That time with a little bit more time to gather himself and get that shot off, and it was nothing but the bottom. It's one thing that Coach Smith has talked about in the early going. They haven't shot the ball as well as they would like to from the outside, but Harvey doing a nice job of correcting that early here in San Antonio. 2 for 2 from deep for the Tigers. I believe just one attempt from the outside for the Crusaders this far.
The Crew have only put up one shot, period. So the Tiger zone defense, it's a bit of a Rubik's Cube. It's not just one zone, so UMHB having a bit of trouble cracking the code right now. Head back. And that will count as the media timeout, folks. So UMHB driving it down the court. This is Eli Beard. Puts it up to Maurice Pinnock. Pinnock down to Beard. And Beard's three won't fall. Tigers moving quickly in transition. Harvey over to Millhouse. Millhouse can't get the three, but it's tipped in by, I believe, Christian Green. Incredible athleticism there.
And Christian Green has been arguably the most impressive Trinity Tiger in the early going this year, as that one is well off the mark, and the referees are going to say it was deflected out of bounds by the Crusaders, but Green with an incredibly impressive follow right there. He's shown that he can score in a variety of ways. This Saturday, got to the rim in isolation one-on-one, had a little bit of a tougher matchup on Sunday and just played off the ball. A lot of nice cuts as Jacob Harvey lets that one go from deep, and it's a little bit short, corralled by Mary Hardin-Baylor.
UMHB trying to get on the board, and that ball is knocked away. Green going down the court quickly in transition. Kicks it back out to the arc. It's in for Braxton. Braxton out to Millhouse. Millhouse puts up a fadeaway shot, but it won't go. So UMHB with the rebound and heading back down to the other side of the court. Pennock will get the ball back, driving it in. And UMHB finally on the board, 12-2.
The last 30 seconds or so, Josiah Johnson's been holding the side of his head. I think off that last shot from Trinity, he got knocked around a little bit. His hand just went back to the side of his face, as that's another shot that's off the mark from Harvey right there. But important to monitor Johnson at this point, as a nice Euro step in transition, has another 2 points for the Crusaders. That time, Eli Beard utilizing that nice long stride.
Millhouse passes it up to Barry. Barry down to Harvey. Harvey looking for Brown, but the ball will end up out of bounds. Tiger ball. We'll have another stoppage in play here, as both teams will get an opportunity to talk things over. But right now, Trinity cooling off maybe just a little bit, but still having a nice lead here in the first.
Yeah, and there's certainly some Tigers doubled over as you see Braxton Berry fall into a chair right there. This one was scheduled for a 7:30 tip. Getting underway pretty much right on time. Almost 9 minutes of real time have elapsed, and over 5 minutes of game time have already gone by. So a really quick pace here in San Antonio, and that's exactly what we expect out of this Trinity side. Trying to get out and run in transition is something that they really pride themselves on, and it's another thing that we talked about in our meeting with Coach Smith. It's just their tendency to do so. One thing that he wants to see this team do more as the season continues to progress is just pitch the ball ahead in transition, get out and run even quicker than they have so far.
Trinity was the highest scoring offense in terms of points per game in the SCAC last year, and this year they're outdoing themselves so far with 83 points per game. They're putting points on the board quite a bit. We'll see how UMHB sets up their defense to stop a very, very potent Trinity attack. As Dean Balo checking in for the Tigers. Another freshman on the court. He's out of Dallas, Texas. He'll be the one for the inbounds pass. Gets it to Green. Green working his way in. And that one will fall, so Tigers keep their lead at 10.
It was nice defense by Ryan Pondent on the inside. Didn't fall for that spin move. Predicted it pretty well. Slid his body back in front of Green and forced that shot over the top. As Millhouse almost had that steal, but in trying to corral it, dribbled it on that out-of-bounds line. So very quickly it will go back to Mary Hardin-Baylor. But a nice shot from Christian Green the last time down, helping this Trinity side settle back into things after Mary Hardin-Baylor had scored 4 straight of their own.
Johnson is back out to Beard. Beard working his way in, and the crew trying to keep up with the Tigers as Trinity will move quickly in transition once again. Green will maintain possession of the ball. Green works it in, can't put it in, but gets a rebound, and that one will draw a foul. So Green will head over to the free throw line.
Trinity out of that last time out obviously came back with Balo, but also Ty Williams replacing Braxton Berry. So giving up a little bit of size. Ty Williams measuring on the roster at 6'5" as opposed to Braxton Berry stepping in there at 6'9" as Green's first one is off the front of the rim. But that's one thing that this team's been comfortable with in the early going is sacrificing size, considering the length that they have out there, specifically in Green. Right now, I think Mary Hardin-Baylor struggling to match up with it just a little bit. A couple times in a row, he went right at Pondent. He won with a basket on that last possession and then got to the free throw line there.
Green can't sink either of his free throws, so UMHB trying to cut the deficit further. Pennock up to Beard, back down to Pennock. Gets it down the court, but it'll be Tiger ball.
Yeah, and it looked like on the catch right there, Jay Todd stepped on the sideline trying to get going towards the basket. It's 5 games that I've called here in San Antonio and 5 times that I've seen that exact play. So still early on in the season, some guys just trying to get their bearing, figure out where exactly they are on the court.
Harvey with an open 3, but off the front of the rim, just a bit too short. UMHB working quick in transition. And a travel will make the slam dunk not go. And Brown checks back in for the Tigers.
See it in transition right here. The catch, 1-2 steps, starts to drag that third before he can throw the dribble down. So unfortunate sequence for Jay Todd, who turns the ball over on consecutive possessions, but certainly had a difficult task as Dean Balo was doing a nice job of getting back in transition to challenge that one.
Balo up to Brown. And foul. See who. So Kyle Wright will be tagged with that foul. But we are still playing a pretty clean game of basketball here in CalGuard Gym. Balo working it around, having to contend with Beard, and that pass intercepted, but unfortunately for LD Butler, out of bounds before he can get the pass off. But
good pressure on the ball right now coming from this Mary Hardin-Baylor side. Largely it's been number 0, Maurice Pinnock, who's applying it, but also out there, Kyle Wright. See Pinnock almost all the way out at that half-court line applying pressure on Jacob Millhouse right now, and Eli Beard doing the same on Balo. Balo
trying to work his way in, surrounded by Crusaders. Gets it out. Brown with the quick 3, and he sinks the 3. So the Tigers offense firing on all cylinders as Brown puts them up 17-6.
Yeah, and a great job from Brown right there, just recognizing his teammate was in a little bit of a bind. Nice job from Mary Hardin-Baylor trapping on the interior. Tanner Brown just put himself in a good position to receive that pass and pulled the trigger very quickly.
Green, Tigers working quick in transition. Millhouse with a 3. That one doesn't fall, but Williams with the rebound. Balo at the top of the key, working it in. And what athleticism by Balo as the Tigers keep their lead at double digits.
Yeah, recognized it was Butler outside defending him. had the advantage with quickness right there, got the step, and then even when the other defender stepped up in the paint, it was a little bit too late and finished through their contact. But Hardin-Baylor really settling in nicely as they take this one away off the mid three-pointer.
And that's going to be Jace Todd, who just works his way completely over that Tiger. They have hit some good shots. Eli Beard hit one from way downtown.
And all the momentum swinging in favor of the Crusaders right now. A couple of big possessions in that sequence.
And we're going to take you back to the past. The not so distant past for some, but distant past for many. 2003, number 35, a young upstart, Jimmy Smith, head coach for the Trinity Tigers today. Look at Smith working his way in. Beautiful shot right there from Jimmy. Jimmy starts this play off, and look at him. He ends up getting a step in, and more points for Jimmy Smith. His alma mater being at UMHB. Look at him crashing the boards for a rebound. And our final highlight for Jimmy Smith, 6 points on the day. Beautiful shot. Coach Smith, 20 years later, in the same gym, working with the Trinity Tigers.
Yeah, not pictured right here on the other side of things. Head coach Cliff Carroll for the Crusaders, sporting a nice number 35 Mary Hardin-Baylor jersey. Pretty entertaining here today, paying some homage to Jimmy Smith. You can see it in that shot right there as he walks back down the opposite sideline. So a great coaching matchup here in San Antonio. Coach Smith goes against his alma mater trying to get a victory.
Back in play now. Right up to Butler, and it's in the paint. If that shot doesn't fall, Barry trying to get the rebound. Foul will be whistled. It was Jace Todd with the shot that didn't go. See on your screen now, Coach Carroll with that number 35 UMHB jersey. And Abdullah Roberts on the court now for Trinity. Balo trying to work it in against Beard and gets rejected. Jace Todd, we've been calling his name a lot. He's been the action man today. UMHB working it around the arc. And that three is going to fall for Beard. So some nice threes from Beard. Put UMHB right back in this one, 19-16.
Now all of a sudden, just a 3-point advantage for Trinity. Pressure continuing on the outside as Beard chased Brown off that screen, and Braxton Berry having to set that one about 5-6 feet outside of the arc.
Now Brown out to Roberts, and Roberts will sink a three. So Trinity 22, UMHB 16, with almost 10 minutes left in the first half. We'll see how the crew respond. Butler down to Beard. Beard shifting it over to Johnson, who gets it in to right. UMHB keeping pace. Down by 4. Abdullah Roberts looking for an open Tiger. Works it in before kicking it out to Balo. Balo all the way to Harvey. Harvey out to Brown. Brown to Balo. Roberts trying to work it in.
He's going to get called with an offensive foul right there. Referee that was closest to him signaling to the benches that Roberts used that off arm, used an elbow to kind of clear out some space. He threw that spin move. It seemed like it was pretty quick in development right there. Wasn't a very intentional elbow from Roberts, but either way, it'll head back down the other way in favor of Mary Hardin-Baylor.
And now right up to Todd. Jace Todd with the shot. That one off the board, but the offensive rebound will not result in points as the Tigers are quick in transition once again. Harvey works it in and gets some quick points for Trinity.
And a great job from Jacob Harvey right there. He put that one in his left hand even though he was on the right side of the basket. He was just leaning forward with that side of his body, wanted to get that up off the glass before any shot blockers could get over.
And the ball fumbled, so Tiger ball as Ryan Pondent trying to recover it, but it will be Trinity basketball.
That time Josiah Johnson trying to force the issue. Over 11 minutes gone here in San Antonio. He's yet to register a shot, hasn't scored, and he's turned the basketball over 3 times.
Tigers inbound. Roberts working it quickly, trying to do it all himself, but the ball gets ripped away from him. So now UMHB working quickly in transition. The 3 won't fall, but offensive rebound. Johnson kicks it out. That one's not going to fall either, but UMHB will have another rebound thanks to Johnson, but that one will be airmailed. Tiger ball, there were a couple good looks for the crew, but none of them end up going.
Yeah, and created by some great effort. Josiah Johnson running down that first offensive rebound outside the arc. He'll check out of the game, and then on that last air ball, Kyle Wright went flying and hit the ground a little hard, trying to corral the other board. It's been a great job, in the most part, by this Trinity defense. Abdullah Roberts attacking off the dribble right now. Sets up Harvey straight away from 3, but that one's also off. So after a really nice start from the outside, Harvey's starting to cool down. He's missed his next 3 shots from deep.
And Braxton Berry will draw a foul there. As Todd fell to the ground after the rebound. So 24-18 is the score. Trinity currently winning right now. But UMHB certainly has something to say about that. Right. Up to Butler. Butler in the paint. That one rims out. So now Zach Fenn on the court for the Tigers. Gets it over to Green. Green puts it up, but Fenn with the rebound. And Fenn will have some points and a bit of change as well. And the foul tag to Butler there. But great work by Fenn.
Green just attacking the rim so hard right there. There was a lot of contact when he went up, and those Crusader defenders kind of attached to his hip as he continued to move out of bounds. That just pulled everyone out of the paint. That one deflected up in the air, and Finn, the benefactor of it, found himself ball in his hands wide open in the paint. Does a nice job of finishing that one through some more additional contact, and after this media timeout, he'll head to the free throw line for an extra attempt.
And number 35, Zach Fenn, the sophomore out of Covington, Louisiana. He's a bit of a chaos creator on the court. He's prone to getting some nice steals. And last year, he passed someone that you and I know very well, Coach Hill, for steals in a season. So he knows how to take the ball away. We'll see how he brings the chaos to the court this time.
Yeah, and there's a lot of connectors, kind of that player archetype on this Trinity squad. There certainly have been over the past couple of years. Jacob Millhouse has moved into that starting lineup, but a lot of unselfish guys who play in more of a hustle capacity. Ty Williams coming off the bench. They don't take a bunch of shots, but they play really good defense, and they benefit you because of hustle plays like the one that we just saw, resulting in this extra chance at the charity strike.
So Fenn will attempt to make good of his and one opportunity. That one won't fall, so only 2 for Fenn. UMHB down 26-18. And that pass was very high. It's going to be Tiger ball. Fenn getting in the way of the pass, nearly intercepting it, but ultimately it will just be bobbled and Trinity ball.
Yeah, but he creates that pressure. I think it was Wright trying to go up and corral it. He was trying to tip it to himself, but because Finn couldn't get a finger on it himself, Wright just tipped that one straight out of bounds, and it goes back to Trinity.
Green surrounded, gets it to Fenn, and Fenn will be tagged with the travel. So 26-18, Crew ball.
Yeah, it looked like he didn't catch that one cleanly, so not really in full possession of it. Well, I was mistaken, but based on the replay, doesn't look like he shuffled his feet. He was set when he caught it, took his dribble as he turned.
This one in the paint. And that'll be a travel call on Ryan Pondent, so travel for a travel, perhaps.
Mary Hardin-Baylor, after a little bit of a rocky start, have settled in. They've done a nice job of trying to get the basketball into the short corner as they get a turnover there in the press. That was Peyton Brooks, who took it right away from Tanner Brown, went right at him, got the layup.
Dula Roberts down to Fenn to Barry. Barry over to Brown. Brown back down to Roberts. Barry in the paint, trying to work it in. Fumbles the ball, keeps it to himself. It'll be jump ball. And it's going to be Crew ball from that jump ball, even though we don't jump for the ball in the college world. We'll change the possession arrow over as the Crew get ready for their next possession.
Braxton Berry maybe trying to do a bit too much right there. Don't typically see him go in isolation scenarios. Just lost it as he was trying to execute that spin move. But a nice job of recovering it. But unfortunately for Trinity, possession arrow not with them.
That one won't fall for Brooks. Millhouse trying to get it away. Over to Fenn. Green with a nice handling of Fenn's pass, but the ball will be sent out of bounds. And it will continue to be Trinity ball.
Clearly a ton of speed from these Mary Hardin-Baylor guards. Got the memo, this Trinity team wants to get out and run in transition. They're doing a great job right now of getting back, trying to check that defensively. As that one's up from the corner for Finn, but it just rims out. Braxton Berry, despite the fight for the rebound, tips it out, and it'll go back to the purple and gold.
Get another nice look at Coach Carroll for UMHB. And that nice number 35. Repping one of the greats for UMHB. So, working it back down his beard. And now, once again, Brooks down to Pinnock. And the Crew trying to work it in. Need to find an opening. Butler will try to pass it up, but it's going to be Tiger ball as the pass was a bit errant and Pinnock couldn't corral it in time.
This Trinity team continuing to apply that great defense. One of the biggest reasons they go to this zone is to, of course, force teams to shoot over the top, but they have such great length in it too. When they play in those set positions, it really shrinks the number of passing lanes, and of course they can get their hands active in those passing lanes. See a ton of deflections on that end of the court.
And right now, a couple of stats. Trinity in a 2-minute scoring drought in. UMHB, 4 turnovers in the last 4 minutes. You don't want to be averaging a turnover a minute against this Tigers team. That one is quickly inbounded, and it's going to be an and one as Trinity enters the bonus as well.
Big time opportunity with still over 5.5 remaining in this first half. See Millhouse just get a step on his defender. Pinnock trying to recover in time, but of course the contact was there, but a great job from Millhouse to finish despite that.
Millhouse trying to make good of his and one opportunity here. And he sinks it. So 29-20. Eli Beard trying to work against this Trinity defense. Playing a bit more aggressive now in the zone. And it's tough work for the Crew, but an open look will be good for Eli Beard as he's been sensational from downtown tonight.
Sensational from pretty much everywhere with that. He moves to 5 for 6 from the field, 3 for 4 from deep. He leads the way for the Crusaders with 13 points as they come back in transition. He gets another shot.
That one rolls out. It's a struggle for the ball, And jump ball, so Tigers will get it. 5:01 on the clock. Yeah, but the Crew getting that quick takeaway and working it down fast. But just a little too much interruption on that shot from Beard. Brown seeing how he can help the Tigers out, gets it up to Millhouse. Millhouse over to Green. Christian Green works it in and gets it in. So 31 for the Tigers. Now it's UMHB's ball. Ball in their court. Beard down to Pennock. Pennock shoves it back out to Beard. Beard with a deep three. Doesn't get that one. Green with the board. Balo. Balo gets out to Brown. Brown with the three. That one won't fall. I believe they'll call that one on Braxton Berry.
Looks like they're calling over the back on Berry right there. Real time, it looked like he tried to hit this one away. See a body hit the ground there. Certainly some contact as he was elevating, but it looked like both players were trying to lunge towards the basketball right there. A little bit too much contact on the back of Pinnock as he comes down the other way and knocks that one from straight away.
The Crew keeping pace with Trinity. Balo works it in the paint. Will draw the foul. He'll get a trip to the free throw line as the Tigers in the bonus. But he get 2 shots anyway since it was a shooting foul.
Looks like based on that replay, someone clipped his leg as he was trying to split that double team. Slowed him down pretty significantly, but full extension, he almost managed to flip that one in off the glass. Get a look at the numbers up on the board. Trinity leading in most categories. They also have a 4-0 advantage at the free throw line. Haven't shot a ton of free throws this half, but considering the fact that Mary Hardin-Baylor has shot none, certainly think you'll live with that advantage the way it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And just so we don't forget, junior out of New Braunfels, Grant Jacobs checks in for the Tigers. Just a couple seconds before that timeout hits the floor. Another good player showing how deep that this Trinity bench is, especially coming off a year where there was a lot of turnover at the starting positions. Players like A.J. Clark graduating last year after a good season. But this Tiger squad, they're setting their sights higher than ever. And this Crew team is certainly going to be a tough test for them because they are, year in and year out, usually one of the top teams in the region.
Yeah, made a nice little run in the NCAA playoff last year. But of course, one of the other big things that these early season in-region games play a part in determining is who gets to host once that tournament comes around. So Trinity with a real nice start early on this season, wins over Hardin-Simmons and Concordia, other opponents in the region, but they also opened their year with a couple of other ranked wins on schools from the West Coast, beating Claremont Mudd Scripps, who was ranked number 23 at the time, and Whitman University in a pretty commanding opening day victory.
Balo sinks his free throws. UMHB trying to crack the Trinity defense yet again. Beard working it in. Some acrobatics by Beard. Ball ends up in the hands of Pennock, who sinks another shot. So UMHB riding the hot hands well. Fenn working quick in transition. Fenn losing the ball to Pennock. Pennock working quickly, has Green to beat. Intercepted by Fenn. That one's going to end up out of bounds. Good job by Fenn for keeping it in bounds. It'll stay Crew ball.
Just holding on to the basketball a little bit too long that last time down in transition. Kind of got stuck in the middle halfway to the basket right there, allowed the defense to collapse on him. Looked like he had Jacob Harvey coming open on that opposite block, but by the time he saw him, he was in too much traffic to get that pass off. Nice job defensively by the Crusaders right there, creating that traffic and taking the basketball away.
Beard up to Pennock. Pennock hits up Brooks. Brooks back down to Beard. Beard from the paint. That one off the back of the rim. Green working quickly. Up to Jacobs. Grant Jacobs into Fenn. Fenn from the paint. We'll have 2 more points added to his name, 35-28. And now the Crew with 2:40 and counting left in this first half, trying to cut the deficit and catch up. Pennock thought about taking the 3, thought better of it. Works it back up to Brooks. Brooks to Beard. Pennock works his way in, but loses the ball. Fenn able to recover that one. Harvey with an around-the-back lob after maybe not the best pass. Foul will be drawn. That was quite the lob from Harvey, and it gave UMHB a good chance, and they'll draw a foul.
And clearly wanting to get out and run in transition is important, but forcing the issue just a little bit too much that last time down the court. See the foul that got tagged to Baylor right there. It looked based on the replay like he did everything he could to slide his feet and go upright. Clearly kept his arms up in the air after that contact, but it was a nice job from Peyton Brooks going right at the defense, forcing the issue and making the referee call that foul. Knocks that one down at the free throw line to cut this Trinity lead to just 6.
Brown fumbles the ball a little bit. It's still on the floor. Still on the floor. A bunch of players going for it. And it's going to be Crew ball. And no signal for. There we go. Get James Hill confirming it is Crew ball. Working their way in and back out. Some quick passing from UMHB, but a travel is going to be called on Pennock as maybe moving a little too fast for their own good there. Trinity will get the ball back 35-29 with a minute 46.
What Trinity wants to do with this zone defense is really force the ball from side to side. That's what Mary Hardin-Baylor has done in large part as Green loses that one and very quickly Wright comes back the other way. Doing a nice job of creating that separation. Nice hesitation move in transition to stop Green's momentum.
Harvey works his way in and over to Green. Foul will be called.
I think that one was on the court. We'll have to see what the ruling is from the referee. One way or another, Jacob Harvey will be shooting free throws. It just depends on if it's a 1-and-1 or if he'll get 2 shots. It will be a 1-and-1. Largely, Mary Hardin-Baylor relying on points in transition right now. Trinity doing exactly what they want, getting that ball swung from side to side. Is that one a rare miss from Harvey? Jewel Roberts in there trying to grab an offensive board, but the referee will confirm it's going to be Crusader basketball. So Trinity will try and apply some pressure here with a full court press.
Tigers have been a bit turnover happy. 4 turnovers in the last 2:30. Have to clean up that play a bit. Pennock with another deep 3. Tigers, 2 Tigers went after it. It will be Crew ball. Has a little too many cooks in the kitchen for Trinity. That one inbounded right up to Brooks. Brooks hits it off the rim, but offensive rebound. But Tigers will collect the takeaway there. Brown gets denied there, and UMHB will work their way back down. Quick in transition are the Crew, and they will inch ever closer, but Trinity moving at light speed right now. Green. Double dribble on Green is the call, so 31 seconds left. Crew will have an opportunity to tie or maybe even take the lead.
And Kyle Wright has been everywhere on the court the last couple of possessions for this Crew side. I know in conversations before this one, Reed, his coaching staff referred to him kind of as an unsung hero, doesn't get the credit he deserves. But really showing why over the course of the last few minutes.
Foul drawn there. And based on the reaction, so team foul number 6 for Trinity. Crew will inbound yet again. Wright will be the one to make the inbound pass. Gets it to Beard. Beard working against Fenn. Gets it up to Pennock. Pennock down to Wright. Wright works his way up the arc. Gets it down to Pennock, but fumbles the ball. It'll be Tiger ball, and the Crusader hitting the floor very hard and very awkwardly at that. That could not have felt good. I can't quite tell.
Looks like it's number 42, Ryan Pondent, who just got run into right there by Maurice Pinnock in hot pursuit of the basketball. His teammate just couldn't get out of his way. I think he'll get up. Just took that one in the wrong spot. As the coaching staff makes their way out to him. Coach Smith taking the timeout here, trying to draw something up over the course of the last 2.6 seconds. A nice job of getting that stop defensively to curb this little push from Mary Hardin-Baylor that has brought them back within 2. Tigers want a little bit more cushion headed into the halftime break.
We'll see if the Tigers are able to get a good shot off here as Pondent will head back to the bench. It'll be Millhouse looking for an open Tiger on the inbounds. Millhouse lobs it all the way to Green, over to Brown, off the front of the rim. It was a tough shot to make. So at the end of the first half, Coach Smith found his number. 35-33 is the score. Tigers leading it. And looking at those stats, it has been a very competitive game of basketball.
Absolutely. The one thing to note on this screen at this point, turnover totals for each of these teams pretty high. Both sides on pace to turn the ball over 30 times or more in this one. Going to have to be cleaned up in the second half, especially for a Trinity side that played really good half-court defense. But Mary Hardin-Baylor benefiting from some points off of turnovers. They got 9. They got some points in transition. 9 points in transition, almost a third of the total that they have on the evening. So Trinity, especially as things came down the stretch here in the first half, hurt themselves in a way that's keeping Mary Hardin-Baylor in the game a bit more than I'm sure the Tigers would be comfortable with.
Tigers were scoreless through those last 3 minutes, and it was after a start to the half that it seemed that they were scoring every shot that they were taking. Not only that, 5 turnovers in 4 minutes is certainly not helping their game against the Crew right now. We'll take about a 13-minute break in this half. Stay tuned on the Tiger Network as we see how each team makes adjustments.
I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
We're almost out of a little break between halftime. Tigers up 35-33 on the Crew. But once again, we want to go back to 2003, almost 20 years to the date now. Number 35, Jimmy Smith for the Crew, alma mater, graduated in 2004. Driving it into the paint. Nice bucket there for Coach Smith. Dug this out of a little closet that, one of the equipment closets. We actually had to dust it off. Look at Coach Smith. Well, ultimately, for that one, Trinity would end up taking it 74-63. Calgary Gym looked a whole lot different back then, didn't it, Luke?
Kind of like the bleachers all the way down to the court. You know, there were certainly some rowdy games here in San Antonio when that student section was filled up.
7,294 days later, we are kicking off the second half in San Antonio as Jacob Harvey takes the inbound pass, and we'll see if the Tigers can regain their momentum. Barry getting it to Green, and Green will put it in despite the efforts of Butler there.
Just a nice set play from Trinity right there. Jacob Harvey taking it to the left side, getting it to Braxton Berry at the free throw line extended, and a nice backdoor cut from Christian Green to finish the job, rising up over the top of the defense.
Butler gets it out to Brooks. Brooks working his way up three-point arc. Back to Brooks, gets it in, and that one will be head out of bounds. Crew will still maintain possession, and it's good to see Ryan Pondent out there after sustaining a little bit of an injury at the end of the first half.
And he'll certainly play an important role. Trinity defense trying to force the ball side to side. Mary Hardin-Baylor looked good when they got it into the short corners. They do so again there, but nice recovery from Braxton Berry.
And Brown putting his head in his hands as his pass was off the back of the backboard and went out of bounds.
Yeah, just unfortunate timing for Trinity right there. It's like he did have full possession before the shot clock hit 0. But fortunately for them, getting the ball back very quickly, another situation where guy just doesn't know where his feet are at in the corner. That time Peyton Brooks coming wide open on the opposite end of the court. He was unfortunately standing on the out of bounds line.
Green works it in, gets the pass, tries to get it over to Harvey, but that one was a little bit too high for Harvey. So Crew ball, Josiah Johnson, who has been held relatively quiet so far by the Trinity defense. We'll see what impact he makes in the second half as neither coach making changes to their starters.
But Johnson only played 9 minutes in that first half. This is a nice feed down low. Good movement underneath, navigating the painted area. That time it was Butler who got the friendly bounce off the rim and got that one to drop. But Johnson only played 9 minutes that first half. We mentioned early on he took a hit to the side of his head. I don't think he checked back in once he had checked out. So good to see that he's good to go for this Crusaders side. They'll need him down the stretch.
37-35 right now. Trinity maintaining a one-possession lead. Green trying to get the inbound pass. Gets it to Braxton Berry. Down to Brown. Green going through the spin cycle, and that one is thrown away. It's going to be Crew ball. And the turnovers, Tigers hoping that they don't plague them in this half like they did near the end of the first.
That time Butler playing Green a little bit more straight up, trying to just maintain guarding position in front. Green just so quick and can elevate so well that you can't really afford to give him a lane, try and force him one way or another. So athletic that if he gets to the rim, he can get so high off the ground, he can finish with either hand. But when defenders have stayed in front of him and forced him to shoot over the top, he really hasn't been that willing to do so early on here.
Brown through an interception. It's going to be a travel call on Kyle Wright.
And even Wright can't help but laugh at himself on that one. Just kind of caught in no man's land, realized it immediately. Big smile on his face.
Tigers inbound it more effectively this time. Harvey. Brown open at the top. And Harvey works it in. Gets it to Barry, who dishes it to Green. That one will stay Tiger ball. As we get some subs for UMHB. Number 0, number 2, Maurice Pennock and Eli Beard. 2 juniors coming on the court for the Crew.
Getting their names called really early on here in the second half, largely because they're leading the scoring column for this team right now. A big set play going for the lob over the top to Christian Green. He gets held up just enough so that he can't finish it, but it will warrant a foul call right here. Coming wide open, and a good job stepping up right there by Pondent, wanting to avoid a big momentum swing. Christian Green has shown here in San Antonio in his first couple career games that he is more than capable of throwing it down with authority.
Green sinks his first free throw. Now 1 for 3 on the night. As the Tigers inch a little further, but Harvey able to rebound the missed free throw. Brown can't get his shot to fall, but another Tiger rebound. And it will remain Trinity ball. So a good opportunity for the Tigers. Harvey set for the inbounds here. Gives it up for Millhouse. Millhouse over to Harvey. Harvey dishing it in to Braxton Berry. Berry works it in. Berry can't get it in though. Rebounded by Pondent.
Last time we saw him in isolation in the paint, tried to use a spin move. That time, no funny business, went straight to the left hand, got to the opposite block. It was a good attempt right there, but just rimmed out. And a nice job playing the passing lane with Jacob Millhouse right there, all the way out in transition off the glass for 2.
And a good momentum shifter for Trinity as they break 40. They're up by 5. Defense still has to stand stout here. Ball is fumbled. And the foul will be called.
Much to the chagrin of that Trinity bench. Looks like that one was a jump ball, more or less, on the ground, loose for both players. Unfortunately for Tanner Brown, I think he got to the basketball first, but as he dove, he kind of just slid through the legs. You see the bump right there. Going to warrant the call pretty much every time from the referee.
Pennock up to Beard. Eli Beard back down to Maurice Pennock. Works it in the paint, trying to get it to that big man in the paint. Possession being hard to maintain for UMHB. Shot clock hits 0, doesn't hit the rim. So a good stand by the Trinity defense as they limit UMHB to whittle down every single second on the shot clock.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things about this zone. Even though it's a pretty structured concept, this Trinity team is more than willing to step up in help. They cover a lot of ground out there on the court with that length that they have.
And that one is absolutely sunk by Dean Balo. The freshman coming in clutch as the Tigers go up 43-35. UMHB trying to respond. Will draw the foul. And that'll be number 10, Jace Todd. The freshman trying to get right back at the Tigers. Timeout on the floor as the Tigers are on a 6-0 run now. as the crew find themselves being the ones in a scoring drought. 2:44 without putting points on the board and 3 turnovers in the last 3 minutes. Trinity trying to turn the tables.
And it was a big shot from Baylor that you saw in that replay. Trinity now 5 for 16 from the outside. Good to see another one go here in the second half. Started pretty strong, as we talked about. Jacob Harvey knocking down his first 2 from the outside, but certainly slowing down for the Tigers since then. Good response and a great start to the second half of action for this Trinity team.
And you see the man himself there, head coach Jimmy Smith, and head coach for UMHB, Cliff Carroll, saying he has so much respect for Jimmy, saying that he loves what he's done with the program over here at Trinity. And he loves playing against Trinity because it's just a chance to showcase some great Division III basketball. And he would like that UMHB and Trinity play against each other in every sport every year, because they're usually the premier teams in every sport.
Yeah, and pull from 2 very different pools of talent. So typically each roster, no matter the sport, very stacked, very talented, and it leads to some absolutely fantastic matchups between these squads.
At the line is Jace Todd, 2 shots.
Jace Todd will get 2 chances to cut into this deficit they find themselves in. That one off the front of the rim for Todd. It's his first trip to the free throw line tonight. And UMHB has not been there all too much. That was just their 3rd and now 4th free throw, but that one will be sunk. So 43-36, Baylor moving fast, out to Millhouse, down to Harvey with the 3, and Harvey sinks it. So Trinity catching fire again. They are up by double digits.
Yeah, and getting out and running very quickly in transition right there. Mary Hardin-Baylor trying to apply some pressure, jumping some passing lanes, and it allowed for that wide open attempt from Harvey, who took that extra second to settle himself, made sure he put enough on it. That time a foul called. See Braxton Berry a little confused by it there. Shot was up and good from Pinnock. So he'll get just 1 attempt at the free throw line right here. That foul did go against Berry. That one was his 3rd.
Green trying to respond after that one. Gets it over to Harvey, another 3. And Harvey drains a 3. You cannot leave that man open. 39-49, Tigers up by 10 yet again.
Got out and ran in transition again. He was in the corner that he had just made that 3-point attempt in. Looked like Mary Hardin-Baylor checked that corner. He just did a nice job responding, of getting over to that other side quickly. He was running that baseline, left him wide open, and he hit that in rhythm.
And the foul gets drawn, and Coach Smith not happy with that one. And I believe they just called a technical on Coach Smith. Not happy at all.
Yeah, Coach Smith pretty fired up about that one, all the way out across the half-court line. You'll see it right here. Certainly a lot of contact between Berry and Beard. Beard was trying to step around. They'll send Josiah Johnson to the free throw line, where he misses the first, to the uproar of this Trinity crowd.
Braxton Berry has to be careful. 4 personal fouls now. Johnson sinks the second one. That's the first point for Johnson tonight.
And scoreless across his first 14 minutes of action. Something that I'm not sure the All-American has ever dealt with in his career. He's a guy that came in to Mary Hardin-Baylor and averaged almost 30 as a true freshman.
From free throw technicals to the regular free throws that were supposed to happen. UMHB cutting into the deficit more and more now. Trinity working quickly in transition again. Millhouse, spin move to get away from Beard. Cannot find Nate Thompson. Big pass. Beard trying to work it in the paint. And Da Vinci paints another masterpiece as UMHB cuts the deficit 49-44. Balo will be fouled. I believe that one will be called on Johnson.
You called just a second ago Nate Thompson's name. Interesting decision from Coach Smith going with the 6'9" junior out of Austin, Texas. Has not had his name called very frequently in the early part of this year. Didn't see him over the weekend in those first 2 home games, but opting to go with size here rather than bringing Ty Williams in off the bench.
Tigers get a quick inbound to Balo. Balo with the 3, cannot get it. And now the Crew trying to work quickly, and Harvey hit a bit hard there as he falls to the ground.
Yeah, but Harvey really creating all of that momentum himself, lunging, trying to come away with that steal against the much larger Jace Todd. 6'5" freshman versus Jacob Harvey, the 5'11" junior who hit the ground hard.
That 3 doesn't go, but a rebound by Johnson draws the foul.
Johnson remaining very active off the ball in this one. Hasn't really been able to navigate the Trinity zone and score in isolation. But now a couple of consecutive trips to the free throw line. Maybe seeing the ball go through the basket will help him get going a little bit down the stretch, as Nate Thompson will check out right now. He committed that last foul. And in his place, Grant Jacobs will enter.
That timeout hits the court as the Crew respond to a Trinity 6-0 run with the 6-0 run of their own. But things are certainly heating up, and tempers are maybe flaring a little bit here in the second half.
Yeah, and Braxton Berry is such a huge part of the efforts on both ends, really. Clearly have talked about the fact that he's not used much in isolation offensively. More of a connector role there, too. But he's very good at what he does around that free throw line. One of those last clips you just saw, feeding the ball to Christian Green. He's going to be sorely missed on the defensive end here, though. 14 minutes left in San Antonio. We'll see how long he'll have to sit. But how can Mary Hardin-Baylor take advantage of his absence? They made a substitution of their own just a couple minutes ago. Jerry Day Jr. checking into this one for the first time. If you're a Tiger Network frequenter, you might be familiar with that name. Jerry Day Jr., a regular on the football team at Mary Hardin-Baylor. Over the last couple of years, he's had a couple of matchups here in San Antonio as Johnson knocks down that second free throw. Trinity trying to get going in transition, but Balo will slow things down himself.
Balo trying to work it in, gets it to Green, and that will have a foul drawn there.
Real awkward looking play. Green trying to catch that one in a lot of traffic. Hands present made it a difficult job, but the referee said he was being held.
Johnson will be tagged with that foul. Millhouse tries to work it in, gets it over to Balo, takes a 3, and Balo sinks another 3 for Trinity as they go up 52-46. Beard gets it down to Jerry Day Jr. Jr. back up to Beard. Sent in Jr. And that one gets denied. Jace Todd trying to put up a shot, but Christian Green is saying, not today.
It's a really good move by Todd. Utilized that jump stop really well to put himself in front of the defense as Josiah Johnson again aggressive on the outside, will get called for another foul. That one going to be just his third, but you see the great recovery from Christian Green right there. All weekend long was an issue with his length. Created a ton of deflections that led to steals, but also had several blocks in both of those games over the weekend. No, he had 5 in just 1/2 of action.
Green gets it over to Millhouse. Millhouse can't drain that 3. Johnson with the rebound. Gets it up to Pennock. Pennock having to contend with Green. Defers over to Beard. Beard's shot hits the back of the rim. Beard will take another one. And that one rattles out. So Green and the Tigers on the move yet again. Trinity works it in. Millhouse surrounded by Crusaders. Green puts 2 more points on the board. So 54-46 as the Tigers trying to grow their lead again.
And a nice job, just floats that one over the top of the smaller defender, Jerry Day Jr. Great performance out of Green on both ends of the court. It's what we're becoming accustomed to here with this Trinity men's squad as Harvey catches that. The threat from the outside, he uses it to his advantage to get all the way to the rim and lays it up nicely for 2.
Harvey and Pennock going at it, but now Beard with the athleticism. Can't get it to fall, and Christian Green's going to be called with a travel. Timeout will hit the floor. So 56-46.
A lot of groans here in San Antonio with this last one. Looked like Jerry Day had his hands in there. Christian Green just trying to rip it away in the process, going to the ground and unfortunately getting tagged with a travel. But on that last take from Beard, just Christian Green's presence in the paint significantly altering that shot, made it a much more difficult attempt and ultimately resulted in that miss.
And we knew some Tigers were going to have to step up with Braxton Berry, that big presence in the paint, not being there defensively. And Green certainly has been everywhere on the court since then. UMHB really needs to get things going. Tigers on a 7-0 run, and UMHB hasn't scored in the past 2 minutes. It's not a recipe for success when you play Trinity, a team that's been averaging 83 points per game to start their season. We'll see how the Crew come out of the timeout.
Yeah, a lot of jostling back and forth in this one. But Trinity at the moment have pulled ahead by a very comfortable 10-point margin, winning this second half of action currently by 8. So steadily growing this lead, and despite the loss of Braxton Berry, because of that foul trouble, the last couple of minutes have looked very impressive.
It'll be Johnson to make the inbounds pass. Trying to find the big man in the paint, and he does. Ryan Pondent getting the 2 points there. But the Tigers quick in transition. Balo coughs the ball up, but the Tigers able to get it back. Brown over to Balo. And Balo sinks another 3. 59-48, you know, called the Claremont game for Trinity women's basketball where Reedy hit a bunch of 3s. I think I've seen this one before.
And we've talked a lot about Christian Green in his freshman year, but maybe not enough love being given to Dean Balo, who dropped a defender in the last game that we saw these Tigers in. Right now, 3 for 4 from deep. Much needed shooting presence from the outside.
Johnson gets a shot that nearly falls. Impressive shot by Johnson, showing why he's an All-American. Brown takes a 3, but that one will be airmailed. So the Crew working quickly. Brooks getting it to Beard, outside to Johnson, and Johnson shows why he's an All-American by absolutely draining that one from beyond the arc.
Yeah, rough performance for Johnson thus far, but it's largely been due to the fact that he hasn't been able to get these attempts off. Stepped into that one confidently, despite the fact as Baylo confident himself. That one just rimming out. It was everything but down.
Wright works it in the paint. Thinks about kicking it out, but takes it himself and gets the points. So the Crew working quickly to get back into this one. 59-53 now. Green works his way into the paint, but gets denied. A good swat by Pondent.
And Green taking a second right there. See him go to the rim. He puts this one in his right hand, kind of right in front of the older defender. Pondent doing a nice job of tracking the basketball, but if you're Green, I'm sure with a little bit more experience, you're going to learn to just put that one in your left hand, keep it far away from the defender, and make that a much easier attempt.
Fenn works it in, but cannot beat his defender there. The Crew trying to work against Fenn, as Fenn is absolutely merciless with his defense. Johnson out to Wright. Wright gets it down to Brooks in the paint. Pondent. Foul on the floor, and that's going to be the end of the day for Braxton Berry.
You have to see a replay of this one. Berry looks from that angle like he was outside the restricted area. Pondent gathering with that power dribble, really lowering the shoulder right there to go through the defender. It was pretty close to being a bang-bang play. Berry may be late to the spot, but I think he was in legal guarding position. So a huge advantage for this Mary Hardin-Baylor side the rest of the way, being able to get Braxton Berry out of the game this early on. See it again here. That left leg maybe a little bit close, that right one sliding, but either way, Pondent a little bit out of control.
It will be Pondent to take these free throws. And that one rolls out. Green with the board. Fenn gets over to Abdullah Roberts. Roberts thinks about going in, but kicks it back out. Baylo out to Roberts, takes the three. Roberts can't get it down. Ball up for grabs. It's still on the floor, and what a pass attempt by Fenn. And the Tigers will maintain possession.
I'm not sure if that was intentional or not from Finn. Diving for that loose ball, trying to save it, and he had a flip straight to Christian Green. Great play, another hustle play by Finn right there. He's been absolutely wonderful in this role this afternoon. Clearly keeping that one in play. Just doing everything he could to save it and happened to throw it straight to his teammate.
Tigers trying to put up some points, haven't done so in the last 2 minutes. Green will draw the foul. No and one this time, but he'll take a trip to the free throw line.
A little bit of contact between Green and Pondent right there as Green went to the free throw line. You can see him eyeing down his defender. He was trying to rise up. Clearly gets hit on the arm right there.
And now Pondent having to be careful himself. 4 personal fouls. And Green, maybe not a night to remember from the free throw line, because he's only hit 1 so far.
But with that, Pondent being taken out of this game, in his place, Butler will check back in. 6'6" freshman. Likely going to try and match up with Christian Green, who gets that one to drop from the free throw line, make his box score look a little bit better, more respectable from the line at the end of the day.
Wright gets a nice pass over to Johnson, up to Beard. Butler back down to Johnson. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Beard works it in, but really hits Abdullah Roberts. Fenn with the pass over to Baylo. Baylo fumbles the ball, so UMHB take it away. They have a 5-on-4 right now. Beard will put it in. So 60-57, one possession game now. Tigers in transition. Fenn trying to work it in. Fenn contending with Beard, gets it over to Green. Green sees an opening, but off the front of the rim. Whistle blown.
See who that one goes against. Referee walks to the table. Well, a lot of bodies around Christian Green right there. Everyone on this Crusader roster just collapsing to the ball. Arguably some contact on that original shot attempt, but I think it was called once he got hold of that offensive rebound. Good job knocking down the front end of the 1-and-1, since it was called on the front end, or was called on the floor on that offensive rebound. That last foul going against Butler, and that's his third.
So 2 for 2 on this trip. And now Wright and the crew trying to mount a response. 8 minutes left in the second half. Beard gets it down to Butler. Butler finds an open lane, kicks it out. Brooks over to Beard. Beard takes a deep three, and Beard drains another deep three for the crew. Getting all the good looks from his high-rise apartment downtown. Brown and the Tigers trying to respond. Abdullah Roberts. Oh, and that one spins out of the basket. Beard once again gets it down to Brooks. Brooks goes up court to Butler. Quick pass down to Johnson as they try to crack this zone defense for the Tigers. Johnson puts up a quick three off the back of the rim. Ball still up for grabs. Johnson ends up taking it, and more points for the crew as we are all tied up, 62-62.
And Trinity running this 2-3 zone right now, not something we've seen a ton. Prefer the 1-3-1 and more of a modified 3-2. A little bit more space on the wings for the Crusaders that last time down. I mentioned Johnson getting a shot off very quickly as Tanner Brown with a nice move in the paint. Just leaves it to the left, but finding some guys off the offensive rebound. What a move from Abdullah Roberts. A little spin cycle action here on a Tuesday evening.
64-62, timeout on the floor as both teams in the bonus. We are seeing quite the matchup between these two heavyweights in Region 10, and as we've mentioned before, it's just such a big game in determining what's going to happen late in the season. And of course, Trinity especially wants a win here because they've already seen fellow SCAC schools, TLU and St. Thomas, get wins over the crew. They want to place a third loss on the crew and send them back home to Belton with a losing record, preferably.
Absolutely. Would be huge for the regional rankings that'll come out as this season progresses. But two very evenly matched teams here in San Antonio. Circle those field goal, rebounds, assists, and turnover numbers. Almost identical in a lot of those categories here this evening, but both of these teams certainly wanting to clean up things from the free throw line. Trinity just 7 of 13 from the charity strike this evening. Some points being left on the board in what is just a 2-point game. But both of these teams going to be in the bonus the rest of the way. So want better free throw shooting down the stretch as each of them tries to secure a victory in this midweek game.
UMHB started their year off 2-0 by getting wins over UW Stout and Illinois Wesleyan. But now 500 record after going on some tough road trips in Seguin and Houston, and those losses to Texas Lutheran and St. Thomas. Another tough road trip in Calgard Gym, always a hostile environment. But the crew can potentially take the lead here if they work the ball well enough. Beard flips it over to Johnson. Josiah Johnson up to right Right back down to Johnson. Johnson trying to find an open lane. It drives it through the Trinity defense, but surrounded by an ambush of Tigers. And Brooks, open three. It's off the front of the rim. And a foul, and we are going to be walking quite a ways since the Tigers are in the bonus.
We'll have to see on a replay here if there was actually any contact between Balo and Johnson right there. Johnson just swinging, trying to get a piece of that basketball and knock it loose. And more often than not, even that motion, you'll see it right here, is more than enough for the referee to blow the whistle, even if there isn't contact present. So Balo going to the line for the 1-and-1.
That one will not go, so Crew get the rebound. And Johnson has 4 personal fouls, so he needs to be careful as well. Would be a huge blow to lose him. Green gets the takeaway, but the pass comes in very hot and it misses Millhouse.
I don't know how Green took control of that basketball, just moved over and absolutely swallowed up Brooks, and split second later came away with it.
Beard tries to find an open Crusader, but maybe we need to have a bit of talk about passing from both sides after this one, as a bad pass is met with another not so great one. Tigers get the inbound. Balo works it down the court. Balo contending with Wright, falls down, gets it over to Brown. Harvey trying to drive in, out to Brown again. Brown takes it himself, and what some fancy moves by Brown. 66-62, Tigers up by 2 possessions.
Brown somehow gathering that one, extension fully out towards his knees. Managed to get it up off the glass with enough English to knock it home. Back on the defensive end, Christian Green playing the bottom man in the middle in this 2-3 zone, and his presence doing a lot right now as he challenges that shot, forcing Butler to leave it short off the front rim. Doing a great job in place of Braxton Berry, who won't come back into this game.
And that one given up to Harvey. Harvey with the open 3, sinks it. You can't leave him open. 69 points for Trinity.
And just an incredibly impressive shot. Those viewers at home don't have a grasp on how difficult that one is. Having to pick that up off the ground is Christian Green, taking that one away too from Josiah Johnson. Trinity running quickly in transition, and a great up and under finish by Millhouse. A quick timeout from this Mary Hardin-Baylor coaching staff. Coach Cliff Carroll fired up. He thought there was a foul that was committed against Johnson on that last possession. He is giving the referees an earful right now.
And he's still giving them an earful. Got to be careful. Don't want to draw a tech.
Trinity is on right now. Harvey with that last 3, extending his advantage as the leading scorer for this Tiger side. He has 19 on a very efficient 7 of 11 from the field, 5 of 9 from downtown.
And now the Crew trying to work it through. Pennock up to Wright. Wright contending with Harvey. Hands it off to Butler. Butler down to Pennock. Pennock thought about a three, thought better of it, trying to work it in, but can't get past Balo. Beard, 6 seconds on the shot clock. Crew got to work a little faster. And that one is fumbled. Balo with the takeaway. Harvey working it in, and that one is slam dunked. Good job by Christian Green, continuing his double-double night in style.
And that has everyone in CalGuard up on their feet. Just a little subtle look back from Jacob Harvey in transition, and I knew this was coming. Perfectly executed. They were on the feet, off their feet, jumping in the air before he even slammed it home, and he was fired up because of it. Cliff Carroll enraged on that Mary Hardin-Baylor sideline. He just got tagged with a technical foul, so Jacob Harvey will shoot 2 more. But man, what a show the Tigers are capable of putting on here in San Antonio.
Harvey, one of the best free throwers in the nation last year, continuing a nice hot streak tonight. And you have to feel as a timeout hits the court that was quite a momentum shifter as the Tigers now on a 13-0 run. UMHB with 5 turnovers in the last 3 minutes, 22 seconds, which has also been the same amount of time since they scored.
As you were saying that, Reed, I was watching that replay from that last angle. Just incredible how high off the ground Christian Green got. And after the fact, how hard that backboard rattled. He put that home with authority. But you're right. That last break we had was at the 4:15 mark. So just 40 seconds have elapsed here in San Antonio, but it feels like a completely different game now. 13-point advantage for Trinity. An absolutely massive momentum swing after that last play.
Right, back down to Beard, deep 3. That one doesn't fall. Green with another board. Gets it out to Millhouse, who's all alone up front. Some quick points for the Tigers. Not what the Crew wanted at all. 77-62, Trinity leading. Pennock and the Crew having to work faster and faster. Beard in the paint. Nearly coughs up the ball. Gets it to Pennock, who takes a 3. That one won't fall. Green with another board. And now Brown up to Balo. Balo back to Brown. Finds a hole in the defense.
Beard fully wrapping up Brown right here. I think this will be a common foul, just a hold. Tanner Brown put his arms up. That X motion, wanting the intentional foul called, but he's not going to get it. You mentioned Christian Green grabbing another rebound. You put a little bit of emphasis on the another, and I think you're right about that. He has 14 on the evening, doing just everything here for the Tigers. 18 points on 11 shots as Tanner Brown sinks the second one, has Trinity up by 16.
The Crew have to work very fast if they want to come back in this one. Butler down to Johnson. Johnson takes a deep 3, nearly makes it. The ball is free, and it will be Tiger ball.
And Johnson forcing the issue a little bit here down the stretch. It's been a couple of long shots from the outside. That one, he was pretty significantly off balance as the Crusaders trying to apply some pressure. Green with another dunk. Out of nowhere, just elevating and slamming it home.
Are you not entertained by Christian Green? Beard, the ball on the floor, kicks it back out. A very deep 3 will not be made by Wright. Harvey and the Tigers working quick in transition again. And now Tigers slowing it down a little bit. Maybe trying to whittle away the remaining time in this one. Gets it over to Balo. Balo tries to get it back out. And Coach Smith caught it like he was about to take a shot himself.
I'm sure he's seen that replay, his highlights from almost 20 years ago. Has him in the mood to get back out there.
Well, we've seen from those highlights, he sure can play, so. Maybe out of years of eligibility, though. That deep three attempt does not go, but some offensive rebounds and a big throw to Brown. That one will not result in points. That was a little overthrown by Green, but
a little bit too aggressive maybe. This one well in hand for Trinity. 16-point advantage with now under a minute 30 left.
And now that one back down. That shot off the rim. And Green, another rebound. Harvey working it around. Having to contend with Wright. Gets it up to Brown. Tanner Brown having to deal with Trey Siegel. New face on the court for the Crew. Round over to Harvey. Takes the three. And Harvey sinks another three. What a night for Jacob Harvey as the Tigers are up 83-64.
And with that, now 6 for 10 from deep for Jacob Harvey as that one's long off the back iron. Baylor securing. Just a great shooting performance from Jacob Harvey as he cues the fans. I think this Trinity team is deserving of all of it. What a performance here this evening against a very, very good Mario Hardin-Baylor team.
The Tigers give it up to Harvey, and Harvey, there's still a shot clock, so a shot will have to be taken. Just taking a really deep three, nearly making it off the rim. Would have been crazy if he would have made that one. But now the Crew with 5 seconds left seem like they're just going to run this clock out. And a 21-2 run by the Tigers crushed the Crew in Calgard as Trinity will walk away with an 83-64 victory over the Mary Hardin-Baylor Crusaders. And what a game for Trinity, a statement win in Region 10.
What a commanding performance down the stretch. I mentioned 21-2 run over the last 6.5 minutes of this game. Just stellar performance on the defensive end, and I feel like a broken record up here, but Christian Green sparking things on both ends for this Trinity side. He finishes this one with 20 and 15. He added a block, a couple of steals, countless more deflections. What a 1-2 punch between him and Harvey. The athleticism, the ability to finish on top, but also the threat from the outside. Talked about it a little bit, a lot of turnover for this Trinity squad. 9 departures off of last year's team. But they have not missed a beat whatsoever, getting some huge contributions early in the year from these freshmen in Green and Baylor, but other guys on the roster continuing to step up.
Yeah, and that step up in the defense as well. After losing their big man, Christian Green was just everywhere on the court. Been saying that it has been the year of the first year for Trinity Athletics, as a lot of really young, promising talent across every sport here at Trinity University. They've been shining, and this has been proven tonight. Green and Baylor really putting on a show. And, of course, Jacob Harvey, have to mention him, just absolutely going off, especially in the late stages of this one. So good from beyond the arc, 11 for 29, and that's what Coach Smith wanted to improve from those first 4 games of the season, and certainly the Tigers have.
Absolutely. But if you look across the court the other way, certainly have to tip your cap to Eli Beard, who stepped up off the bench for this Crusaders side, finished tonight with 22 points on 8 of 16 shooting, went 4 of 10 from the outside himself, very respectable, did everything he could to keep this Crusader side in things, but When Trinity, as successful as they have been across their last 2 games, going to shut down the go-to guy. Talked a little bit about what they did against Will Bartoszek in that game against Hardin-Simmons, limiting him to just 8 after he had put up 36. And then tonight, shutting down an All-American in Josiah Johnson. He finished with just 6, could hardly register 5 shots on the evening. It's going to be tough to succeed as a team when that's the case, and it's exactly what happened here in San Antonio.
Crew fans, UMHB is still on the road. They'll head over to Austin for a match to open up ASC play at Concordia University, Texas, December 2nd. That's a Saturday at 3 o'clock will be the tip time there. Tiger fans, next opponent for Trinity, they'll head up to Georgetown in Pirate territory where they're going to take on Southwestern. That one on December 2nd. 5:30 tip there. That will certainly be an interesting game to open up SCAC play for everyone in the control room. Luke Terry, Josh Majigemba for doing all of this and making sure the stream runs as smooth as it does. I am Reed Rosales, and we all at the Trinity Tiger Network crew wish you a good night.